Welcome back to Data to Decisions. In the previous video, we saw how we can generate a series of continuous dates easily using a simple Excel formula. In this video, we will take it one step further and say, what if I don't want a series of continuous dates? I want a series of dates with skips. For example, on screen, you can see I want to have every 3 days. So for example, the first is 6th January, then in 9th and 12th. So I want to keep skipping 2 days and go to the third day. So can I do that using a formula? Similarly, if I want, for example, to start from a specific day, but I want to only give me the Wednesdays or Thursdays or any specific weekday only, we can do so. And finally, we will also see an example where I want to skip all the Saturdays and Sundays and give me all the Mondays to Fridays. We can do so also. All of this can be done with simple Excel formulas, and that's what we will do in this video. Let's get started. Well, we have a starting date, and we know that I have to generate 365 days, but I want to only show or display the third day. Okay, so that's the skip part. Now, let's use a function sequence, open parenthesis, and here, how many rows do I want to go? Let's choose this cell because I want to go 365, comma, columns. I just want one column of values, one, comma. Where do I start? I want to start with this date. And then step. And this is where we will use this number here, 3, step. Oh, close. Okay, let me just call it step to make it consistent. So what happens here is from the 6th of January, it will generate every third day. So 6th, 9th, 12th, and so on. Okay. So just to help better understand, I'm just going to do a simple formula here. And this, for example, will show us what day or weekday that is. Let's say, for example, I change my step to 7. Now I get all the Fridays. If I change it to 6, now I will get 6, 12, 18, 24, and so on. So this is working dynamically, and I can also change the date. So instead of 2023, I can do 2024. So from 6th January 2024, you can see that it is adding 6 more days. Now, this is the easy part. Now let's go to the second scenario where I want to only list Wednesdays, or I want to only list Thursdays, and so on. So before we get into that, there is a little bit of information about the weekday function that we need to learn. And what I have listed here is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to Saturday. And the way the weekday function works, one of the arguments it has, if by default it will consider Sunday to be number one, Monday to be number two, this is the default behavior, but you can override it by using a different return type argument, which we will see later in this video. But for now, remember that Wednesday is 4 in Excel's terminology by default. Thursday is 5. Okay. So let's write our sequence function and say start from this date. Right. We need to say how many days first, and then one column of values. Start from here. Step just one. Okay. Now, it will generate all the days. Now, what we need to do is to filter out and only keep the days which are weekday 4, right? The input here is 4. So 4 means Wednesday, right? Okay. And now let's see how we can do it. I'm just going to filter the sequence, right? Filter all these dates, comma. I want to calculate the weekday. So weekday of the sequence of days equals 4, or I'll just point to the cell 4. Okay. Now I can close my filter and let's hit enter and see. I'll explain how this works. Just like before, let me just show the the day right next to it. So we can see it's all Wednesdays. Okay. So if I change this to 5, I should get all Thursdays. There we go. 5 to 6, I should get all Fridays. So it is working, but let's explain again how this works. We are filtering of all the days starting from the 5th of January, go 365 days. Now I want Excel to filter and give me only where the weekday equals number 2, which is what we have listed here. So find the days, calculate the weekday. If the weekday matches, then filter that. That's the logic. So if I change this to 1, I will get all Sundays. So one important thing to keep in mind here is that even though we said 365 days, Excel will not return back 365 Sundays. If we go back to the end, I will see that there are only 52 days being returned. And that's because there are only 52 Sundays within that 365 day period. So please keep this in mind. If you want 365 Sundays, we do the formula differently. But within the next 365 days, give me only Sundays. This formula would work for you. Now let's go to the final scenario, which is where we want to skip the Saturdays and Sundays and only give the weekdays on Monday through Friday. And this is another common scenario to generate dates which are only working days. In order to do so, I will use the same logic as before, right? So let me go and say, I'm going to use the same formula, but I'm going to make a little tweak and I'll explain why. When we did the weekday function, we didn't provide the return type, okay? The default return type will be 1, which will go from Sunday through Saturday. But for this formula, I want to change this to Monday through Sunday, which is return type 2. And I'll explain why. If I use the return type 2, my Monday will be 1, my Sunday will be 7, my Saturday will be 6. So I can get my Saturday 6 and Sunday 7 towards the end of my series. So this helps me write a simple logic to say, if my weekday happens to be less than or equal to 5, then that's Monday through Friday. Okay. So that is what I will pass through in my filter and I will get these dates. And just like we have tested before, let me just copy and paste that. You will see now that Thursday, Friday, and then it skips Saturday, Sunday, moves to Monday automatically. So let's do 2024, January 1st. Now, okay, it still is pointing back to the formula in column H. So let's just quickly update our formula to say start. Okay. This is what we need to do. Okay. So same logic as before. The only change that I made was instead of using the weekday filter to be a number that the user inputs, we are now saying less than or equals to 5. And I've displayed here on the right side, when we use the return type 2, Sunday becomes 7, Saturday becomes 5. That's very handy for me to write this simple condition less than or equal to 5. Then we get all the weekdays. But what, let's say, for example, we want only weekends. It's very simple. Just change greater than 5, hit enter. You get only Saturdays and Sundays during that period. Just like before, you will not get 365 Saturdays and Sundays. You will get 104 Saturdays and Sundays, 52 weekends during the year. So please remember that when you use this formula. If you have any suggestions, if you have better efficient methods to do this, please put them in the comments and I look forward to learning from you. I will see you soon in another video. Thank you so much for watching.